you all are well. Today we are going to study the third part of our lesson, plants, form, functions. In this lesson we are going to study about the leaf and the flower. The leaf is known as the kitchen or the food factory of the plant. You know very well why. Because it synthesizes the food in it. As a kitchen, we do it in the kitchen, no, or in the factory with the help of chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and water. It is able to prepare the food for the plant. Let's see the structure of the leaf first. This broad flat part is known as the leaf blade or the lamina. Inside this you will find many thread-like structures which are known as the veins. But in the center of each leaf you will find a thick vein that is known as a midrib or the main vein. This one, the main vein or the midrib extends towards the stem, and the base at which the leaf is attached to the stem is known as the leaf base, and this is known as the stalk or the petiole. The leaves which are connected to the leaf base by means of a petiole are known as stalked leaves. And there are some leaves which do not have a petiole or the stalk, and they are known as the sessile leaves. S-E-S-S-I-L-E, sessile leaves. They are petiole-less leaves. And this whole is known as the structure of the leaf. Let's discuss the functions of the leaves. The main function is the photosynthesis, the process by which the leaves prepare their food with the help of water, sunlight, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll. These four factors are very much responsible for the manufacturing of food inside the leaves. Then we can see this, that there are small holes or pores in the leaves. They are known as the stomata. They play a major role in the transpiration and respiration and even the photosynthesis, because exchange of gases take place through these small pores called stomata. The singular is known as stoma. Transpiration is basically the process by which the water drops or the water vapor is transpired out, leaves the plant body through these stomata. The respiration usually takes place during the night time in the maximum amount, the taking in of oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide. But you will say, ma'am, usually the plants take in carbon dioxide. Yes, they take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, which takes place exclusively during the daytime or in the sun, in the presence of sunlight. The modifications of leaves are leaf tendrils. Leaf tendrils are also the spring-like structures which arise from the leaves for the support. For taking the support, they twine around a support to let the plant be firm. The example is sweet pea. The leaf spines. Spines means small thorns. They are present in a plant called prickly poppy so that the grazing animals cannot eat it. The leaf traps, there are special modifications in some of the leaves, and they are just like a pitcher. Pitcher means a bucket and with a lid. They are pitcher plant and bladderwort. Bladderwort is the modification of leaves in the form of bladders. Why are they modified in such a way? Because they have to trap the insects. They are growing in such a soil which is deficient of certain nutrients, and these nutrients are derived from the body of the insects in order to cover up the deficiency. Now, the reproductive part of a plant is the flower. It's very important for producing the new plants. The flower is attached to the stem by means of a stalk called pedicel. Above the pedicel, you will see a swollen part. That swollen part to which the floral parts are attached to the stalk is known as thalamus. And above the thalamus, you will see this, inside the thalamus is the ovary portion, and the ovary contains the ovules. Now you will see that the outermost portion of the flower, which is green in color, and this is known as the sepals, and when it is inside a when the flower is inside a bud, these sepals protects the inner delicate parts of the flower inside the bud. These sepals are usually 5 in number, and they are the protective parts, and they are the first whorl, WHORL, whorl of the flower, that is known as the calyx. I have written here calyx, CALYX, calyx. Now this part is the colored part. These parts are the colored parts. Sometimes they are scented also, and they are beautifully colored to attract the insects, and they are known as petals, and it forms the second whorl of a flower called corolla. They are very important. Now here we will see inside the flower, in the center, the swollen portion is the ovary. It contains the ovules, and it extends into a thin tube-like structure known as the style, and it ends up in a green sticky stigma. Together, the stigma, style, and the ovary form the pistil. Pistil is the last. This is the female reproductive part, and it is the next whorl. Next, you will see the pipe-like structures attached to the swollen anthers, and this pipe-like structure is known as the filament. And the anthers are containing the male. This whole portion is forming the male reproductive part of the flower, known as the stamen. And this bilobed structure, anther, contains the male gametes called the pollen grains. Now this whole completes the structure of the flower and is the reproductive part of the flower. Mainly the flower is responsible for pollination. Now let me explain what is pollination. Pollination means transference of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Okay, the process of transference of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma, that process is known as pollination. Alright, now pollination is of two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination means the transference of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the flowers in the same plant. That is known as self-pollination. And cross-pollination means transference of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma from one plant to another plant. Okay, so that is known as the cross-pollination. Now the fertilization, that is the most important process. This means the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete, and after the fusion, actually what happens, let me explain to you a little bit in detail, that the pollen grains, after they are transferred by an insect to the stigma of a flower, they grow downwards and reach the ovule and fuse with the ovule and form a zygote. This fused fertilized egg is known as the zygote, which further develops into embryo, and embryo will further give birth to a new plant. Now the functions of the flower. Functions are, it is the reproductive part of the flower, and in this the ovary forms the fruits and the ovules form the seeds. The flowers are responsible for the beautification of the area. Then the nectar of the flowers are sucked by the honeybees, and they form the honey by taking the nectar. Then certain flowers also help in producing the perfumes, for example jasmine, rose, etc. Then the dried buds of a certain plant form the cloves, and cloves are known for adding good flavor and taste to our food. They are the spices. So this is all about the plants, forms and functions. I hope you all have understood. Please read the lesson also and make the lesson clear by seeing this video. Thank you for listening.